Eagles beat the Bucks 31-25 and improved to 4-0. I'm Coy Camiscioli, Philly Sports Talk here, going to break down the game for you. My prediction was correct. It was a little closer than I would have thought. The Eagles were obviously handling them pretty easily at the end of the first half. Granted, the Buccaneers made a couple long field goals that made it a little closer, but still. Um, Eagles did hang on, though. They did cover, which is exactly as I said. I made a point in saying in the previous episode how I thought that the Eagles, or that the Buccaneers' ownership of the Eagles is kind of fraudulent and not necessarily true, and I'm glad they proved it in this one. But it was close. It definitely was close at the end. Sorry for the later rep, or more of a later up than usual. Very busy earlier on this week, so not going to be as long of a breakdown as usual since it is on Thursday right now. But it was just another weak day in the passing game. First half was solid. 130 passing yards in the first half, but in the second half, the Eagles didn't complete a pass. More so, Jalen Hurts didn't complete a pass. And it's not necessarily all on him. I know it's on Kevin Patullo. This is something I've been saying in all my previous episodes of how nervous I am. He had some neat play calls in the first half, including a couple of clever plays to get Dallas Goedert the ball inside the 5, and he got a couple touchdowns off that. But there's just still not enough spacing for receivers, and especially in the second half. It just felt like the Buccaneers defense made an adjustment to what we were doing, and they just knew what was coming on all plays. It's still like an 80% rate of when Jalen Hurts under center is going to be a run and pistols a pass or whatever it is. I just saw that again on Twitter. We gotta figure it out a little bit. It's seriously an issue, but I don't know. AJ Brown, he went to Twitter after the game, just like last year. We had this whole thing with A.J. Brown. He ended up apologizing later on in the week, saying that this is where home is and that he's happy to be here. But another game, we're not really doing much. 2 receptions for 7 yards. He was the most targeted receiver by a good margin, 9 targets, but just couldn't get in the ball. We see him running curl routes on 2 of his targets, and obviously he's not in control of that, and just easy to pick up on if you're the Bucks, and there's just no spacing, there's nothing open. It seriously is an issue, and it's infuriating to watch as an Eagles fan. So, something's going to have to get figured out. I'm not too concerned with A.J. Brown. We go into Twitter and all that stuff like that. We saw it happen last year. We know how last year ended, so we can still win a Super Bowl even when A.J. Brown wants to do something on Twitter. And he did apologize. He says he just wants to compete, and I don't blame him. I want to get the ball too if I'm a top, 5 to 8 receiver in the NFL, right around there. So we got to figure it out. And because especially the run game has not been as dominant this year either to start. The O-line has been a little weak so far this year. Saquon Barkley just 19 carries for 43 yards in this one. He did score a touchdown off the fake tush push end around play, but he averages 2.3 yards per carry in this one. And this is obviously uncharacteristic of how last year was with the Saquon and the Eagles O-line. But Kevin Patullo is still the issue. So we're going to have to figure this one out. We're still 4-0, plenty of time. But yeah, Jalen Hurts in this game, 15 of 24 completions, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 62 yards rushing off 9 carries. But again, it's just going to need to come from A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and we're going to need a scheme to get them open. So with the offense not being as effective, it's putting more pressure on Vic Fangio and the defense, without a doubt. We run that bend don't break kind of defense, and when the defense constantly out there because of 3 and outs, like especially against the Rams, I think we had 3 or 4 straight 3 and outs, and it's just constantly under pressure, and the scheme just doesn't work as effective when they're always out there. So we're gonna need to figure something out. Speaking of defense, though, Quinton Mitchell, he won Defensive Player of the Week. He was locked down at corner, game saver for us. Made some big time plays in this game. Jahad Campbell, he had the interception here to really ice the game away for the Eagles. The Buccaneers were threatening around the 30-yard line and big-time play. I think they may have been in the red zone. So good stuff there. Zach Ball and Moro Jomo both had sacks in this game. And the other big play, I didn't really even talk about it, was the pump block, which was huge. And it changed the tide of this game as we returned it for a touchdown to start the game, and it was awesome. So that's about it, guys. I don't want to go too far in depth because it is a little bit later of an episode. Eagles play the Broncos at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and I'll have a preview coming out soon. So I'll see you guys then.